Bad man no kill woman and picnic or burn down woman and picnic house, yeah? Bad man no do that, una evil. Una evil, una wicked, una go repent. And no mother, no sister, no brother, no go pray for them, because judgment go take them.
And then the sister turn back and I said, no, like I might turn back. You understand? Sometimes we start beat my mother door and I beat when the door cannot hold. Then you come and kick the door. So I kick the door now, that the door just lift, just bring me back out. You understand? That no strength is not there. But after a while, it's just like I just give the strength. I'm come there and give the door one more kick. I'm kick out the door and I'm ready to go to my mother.
Your mother was burned?
My mother burned, so I don't know after.
So your mother is a senior person?
Yeah. This is a yard where the kids will be down here. You understand? You know, to find a man in the village because I'm going to see the man in the
We're told over 20 persons being into this place, terrorists, to cause this sort of act of terror.
I have to say to them wicked people there, all the things I tell them is they go and go repent. God not spirit. They're poor people, they're homeless. I'm people traumatized. So the bathroom there, so I put them in the corner of the bathroom because through the concrete part, the right there, so we can back them from the shot. So I say when I stay in the bathroom, my boyfriend I run out and him drop the current catching car water. Come run out and throw the water because when the fire catch, you know, the fire catch a curtain, so I run out and one bucket of water there, my pipe, it alone, I could have throw. And when I throw the water done, when the water done,
So
I'm saying no come, I'm saying,
the people who came to destroy the houses, they were seen.
a lot of people see them and God see them too. Woman did deny it. We don't know who them because we don't mix with them. Because we don't mix with people, you know. Worse evil people. And one whole heap of them come down far away. One whole heap of them. But who am I tell them say, bad man no kill woman and picnic or burn down woman and picnic house, yeah? Bad man no do that, una evil. Una evil, una wicked, una go repent. And no mother, no sister, no brother, no go pray for them because judgment go take them.
We have seen an increase in violence within the Gregory Park space. As residents would have indicated, there are certain elements in the community who I will describe as terrorists, and their main focus is to terrorize the communities into their sort of, whatever their social belief is. That is the sort of terror that they are inflicting in the community. At about 3:40 a.m., you know, they would have started with the gunshots, set fire ablaze to this community. We have 11 homes completely destroyed, one man killed, and of course the matriarch of the community, almost 70 years old, you know, she's left hospitalized. I spent 2 hours at the Spanish Hospital visiting with her as well on Saturday. I mean, you know, her skin, her face, the skin has peeled from her face and her hands. You know, it's really, really unfortunate. You'd have heard from some of the residents about the trauma being experienced by the children. On Saturday, we had Councillor Brown, myself, and the Christian Penn Health Clinic. We organized our back-to-school medical and treat. And there are over 20 children who live in this yard who could not have benefited from the medical examinations to get them back to school because their immunization passports also burnt up, birth certificates, every single document for them. So far, Councillor Brown and I, we've started our relief effort. We've started distributing back-to-school supplies from as early as Saturday. Yesterday evening, even during the rain, I was here as well delivering food supplies as well. We've assisted some residents with cash also, just to sort of, you know, help them back on the way. And PM, you're aware, we would have spoken about the social housing program and getting all our agencies on board as a part of the relief effort. It is very unfortunate, but as the Member of Parliament, what I will say is that there will be no safe haven for any terrorists in Portmore. The Commissioner of Police is here, the Colonel from the JDF is here, and we will ensure that the security forces retake the space. No safe quarter will be given to any terrorist, and they will not be allowed to operate in the Gregory Park space. And Councillor Brown shares my views as well.
When this tragedy occurred, immediately we were in touch with the team from over here from the St. Catherine South Division and pushed additional assets into the space, both from us, from other police formations, but also from the Jamaica Defence Force. So that has been holding since. We have been after the people who did this, and we understand that in among the people were not just men who came over, but also women who are willing to come over and burn out other women and children. But that's indicative of the sort of threat that we have been facing as a police force, and we will continue to do so. We're up to the task. We will go and find these people. We already engaged some of them this morning. They managed to escape, but we will be on them. We have identified a number of them, and we'll be following up on that. Some wanted persons will be put out on Wednesday. A series of wanted persons who are involved in exactly what happened here. This is, as the Member of Parliament said, this is an act of terror, and I don't know how else one could describe this. And the fear in the people here is palpable, but it doesn't just stop here. It extends beyond here, because if people can be in the country, in Jamaica, and being burnt out of their homes like this, then this is something that we can only address in the most forceful fashion to recover the space and ensure that the rule of law obtains everywhere in Jamaica, and especially here. So the people here, I can rest assured that we will remain as long as the threat is there, and beyond that we will be after the threat to carry them before the courts, and that justice will be served in this matter.
Gangs are a major threat to our national security. And let me put that into context. So yes, you have crime, street level crimes, accusatory crimes, you have crimes against a person, rape, assault, and so forth. You have things, crimes that have to do with corruption and high corruption. And then you have crimes that are not necessarily citizen to citizen, as these crimes are: murders, accusatory crimes, high corruption. But then you have a certain level of crime that, if not controlled, if taken together, will weaken the ability of the government. I use the term state, but let's use another term, government, to give security to the entire country, meaning that gangs are a threat to national security, not just to the security of this community or to the community outside or a community elsewhere, but to the ability of the nation to give security to its citizens. The challenge with gangs is that they are entrenched in communities like these. The people themselves don't see the coalescing of young men coming together to pursue guns for drugs, to pursue extortion, to pursue selling a little weed on the corner and trying to control territory as gangs. They don't see it that way. They see it as my brother and my cousin and my boyfriend just living in a community. But when they come together and they fall under the influence and leadership of people who have other intent, like people overseas who can send money back and send guns back and say to them, all right, I just don't like the man who live over here, so you guys, I'm going to send you money and you go and kill them. Which is what happens all the time. And then when they become connected now with other people in the society, and these gangs become tools for nefarious activities. Sometimes they may want to infiltrate agencies of the state. They want to get contraband through the ports. They end up trying to influence customs or some other entity. They want to operate illegal drug dens all over, and they don't want them to be raided. They try and influence the police. For us to treat with gangs, it is not just a police issue. Communities have a duty and a responsibility. Those young men and women who felt so emboldened that they could go and purchase gasoline, put them in containers, walk, come to the area in open view of everybody, and proceed to light houses afire. That is like saying, we fear no one. Who is directing them? Who are they connected to? They have mothers and fathers too, brothers and sisters. And what are their families saying about that? So, from the briefing I had today, it was clear that the police are using all the tools at their disposal. And they have several members of several of the gangs in the area under investigation or before the courts using the anti-gang legislation. We are doing as much as we are empowered to do within the law. We may need to create new laws so that we are able to act in a preemptive way to treat with these terrorists and criminals. But of course, there is an element in the society who does not want us to empower our police force to be able to act preemptively. Because the truth is that some of these people who have committed these crimes are on the radar, but you are not empowered to act on them until they would have committed themselves in this way. So we continue to build our intelligence, we continue to build our database, we continue to put in place, I won't say everything that we're doing, so that within hours after they have committed, we are able to respond. But of what value is that to the victim? To the lady who's complaining to me bitterly about what the trauma that her child has gone through, if we are not able to act on not just speculation, but good and sound intelligence. That was the power of the SOEs, which we use to good effect. It's not a tool that you can use generally or in every instance, but we need legislation that will help us to be able to act in a preemptive way to treat with these gangs, because they are a threat to our national security.
So no bring man come burn up to us down here. That una point out to us them. And everybody will get burn up now in no war. We ain't nothing with nobody. And I say innocent for left and this for left. And wait for left and wait for left and who no for stay. Everybody have a family, everybody have a life. You understand? Everybody have them 12 o'clock. Let me tell everybody, nobody get evil. Now watch there's a God. But God see, enough man can't see. So you just allow people the time. You understand? That alone I have to say. And big up everybody will come and see if we're alright and whatsoever. And look out for it.